All right, everybody, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Tuesday at 10. Thank y'all for tuning in. How's everybody doing? It's good to see everyone on here. Maybe some other agents will chime in here in a while. But how are you guys doing? What's the latest? Good stuff going on. Let's go ahead and start with Josie. How are you doing? How's everything going on the corporate end, on the HR end, on the media end? What's going on with you in your neck of the woods?
Things are good. EXP Corporate's trucking along. No, it's great. My project with corporate is coming to a close at the end of the month, so that's great. Lots of great movement because we are hiring a lot more employees, which means that EXP is continuing to grow and expand, which is great news for us. So as long as the need is there, then there's nothing to worry about, and we are expanding at a rapid rate on the corporate side of things. So that's perfect. And then as far as TC side, we do have some new forms that we are going to start using in June and July. So I'll post about that in the La Familia page, some revised forms from TREC, from Texas Realtors. So I'll go ahead and post that just to make sure everybody has it. But lots of updates going on. So it's good.
Cool, cool. Daniel, how's everything going with you? What's the latest? Good stuff going on? Tell us
Been,
about it.
been going well, trying to move some listings. I have a few buyers I'm showing this week. One tomorrow. We're gonna see six properties, not including Perry Homes and George's Ranch. So it's gonna be a full day tomorrow. But yeah, can't complain. Just been trying to stay busy.
Cool, cool. And Josh, how's it going? I see the office remodel. Congratulations on the new office.
I'm never doing this again. Never.
I love it.
I learned. I learned a lesson. Um,
I think it looks great.
how I do? I'm remodeling. For the first time, and I don't in a good couple of years, I'm actually listing free. I've offloaded everything.
That's
But
great, man. Yeah, good, good.
they say list to last, so got to jump back in, and I do got some listing appointments coming up this month, and another one. I've already done the appointment, but the listing's coming up this summer in New Braunfels
Cool.
at some point when seller gets the stuff together. Yeah, and so that means I've had a little more time to dip back into commercial, and I got a lease. I'm wrapping up here in San Antonio and trying to work on something in Denver for another warehouse. So, when residential slows down, I have those opportunities.
That's
Great.
great. That's great. So, are you wanting to transition a little more into the commercial end of things, or are you?
Oh,
Was this?
I would love to, but I've seen that even with the limited, not limited, but the experience I have had in commercial has helped me be a better residential agent,
Cool, cool.
especially in negotiations. I've been able to remove a little bit more of the emotion and go straight to the is this going to work or not, which is really how commercial works. It's really yes or no,
There are more
and
numbers, while
yeah,
residential's more emotion.
a lot of emotion, and you'll never lose a commercial deal over where the backsplash came from. Just saying,
True, true, true.
or a dysfunctional bidet.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Not the dysfunctional bidet. Oh my
You could just
God.
replace the guts, and that you don't have to throw the whole deal out the window, right? Because the toilet, I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
funny, man. That's funny. Well, cool.
Okay.
Liz, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. How's everything going in your neck of the woods? Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you. Well, everything is rolling. Everything is going okay. Got working on a new home build for a very excited client. I did have to make a price adjustment on the listing that is just not selling. So, but the seller knows that he started at the top with the top number, trying to give it a chance, and it in this market, it's not working. So he's very receptive and lowering the price, and so we did that, and so I'm crossing my fingers, and hopefully in the next days, weekend, maybe the next couple of weeks, hopefully to be under contract because it was a significant price adjustment. And I have a couple of other buyers right now that are ready to just find the right home. They're looking for new home builds, these particular buyers, and so yeah, things are moving.
Good. Good to hear. And Jennifer, how about you? Jennifer is starting to hit a stride here in the Harlingen area. So, Jennifer, tell us about it. How are things going for you?
Things are going well. I'm trying to hit a stride, but then also keep momentum.
For sure. Yeah. So we saw that you had a great house under contract. Tell us a little bit about that one. How did that one come about? And congrats on that awesome contract, by the way.
Thank you. That one was one that was in the works for a couple months, maybe 3 months when I first met my client. He came in kind of hot. He was jaded. He had worked with a relative who was a realtor, and he said they just wouldn't really help him. And so he was un he didn't want he didn't trust me. He didn't trust me. He didn't trust anything. So basically he had a mentality of prove it, which was fine. Um so we just had to work on that and work with the strategy, work with the lending, get all your ducks in a row. And he'd even seen the property a couple times with other people, and they just loved the property, but the problem was they couldn't get anyone to work with them to make it a reality. So I just started working and took the risk of I'm going to pour myself into it, do all the things I need to do. And if it happens, great. And it ended up working out.
That's great. That's great. Congratulations. Very
Thanks.
cool, guys. Yeah, we don't really, we have a lot of stuff going on our end over here down in the valley. As I mentioned beforehand, we have our first big agent event coming up in Weslaco coming up this Thursday. So if y'all are watching or if y'all are on the call, agents from the Rio Grande Valley, we're getting together this Thursday, May the 14th at Arturo's Bar and Grill in Weslaco. So we're going to be doing a full executive overview. We're going to have some testimonials. Lunch is free. So if you guys know any agents in the area, send them our way. If y'all aren't familiar with where Weslaco is right in between Harlingen and McAllen. So Weslaco is a nice middle ground. That way we can get some agents, hopefully from Lower Valley area, Brownsville, Harlingen, and then also get some agents from McAllen, Edinburgh, Far. So it's nice central location right off the highway. So we're doing a lot of prep for that, doing a lot of promo for that. I think we're going to have a great turnout. We already have, a good number of RSVPs, so we want to have the room full. I've been reaching out to a lot of agents that I've been talking to over these few years that we've been down here in the valley, and I think they've been itching to get together and learn more. We're learning that in person, as we all know, in person is valuable. And especially for agents here, they've been so accustomed to working in close knit environments. So I'm really happy that the community down here is really getting stronger. We have some leaders in the area, in the McAllen area, Lower Valley area, all over that are really putting their heads together and making it very intentional to get all of the Valley agents together. So we're seeing some good results in getting into momentum with that too. So just kind of have an open Q&A. Do you guys have anything that's been a challenge or anything that you guys have run into that you want to talk about? I'm sure you all have heard about the new acquisition. So congratulations. We all now are part owners of a new company. So yeah, whatever y'all want to talk about, any questions, any concerns, any struggles, any topics that you want to touch on, it's an open floor. What do y'all want to talk about?
Yeah, so Josh, what was the secret sauce on moving all your listings? That's what we all need to know right now, man.
I mean, it's not secret sauce. It's patience and pricing. That really is it. I mean, that's that was the ones I was pretty much struggling with for a good 6 months on each. You know, and they weren't bad homes. but the thing is when it comes to the pricing, you can only drop it so many times before it starts hurting the seller, and or where you really get to a pain point there, and that gets tough. One of the houses we ended up renting out. It was on the market for about 10 months, and they're still building in the neighborhood. Perfectly great house. It's just there's new houses right around the corner. So buying a 2-year-old home didn't make sense to a lot of buyers. So we turned that one into a rental. And the other two, we dropped it as low as humanly possible that the sellers were comfortable with, and we're able to find suitable offers within a month or two after. So yeah, it's really patience and pricing. The good news is this house is still sell, so the sky's not falling. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have listings right now, and I'm a little relieved. It's okay. I feel like I'm working with buyers, which I've always worked predominantly with, and I do enjoy it. I actually really, really enjoy it. And as I mentioned, being, dipping into commercial real estate, I do believe has helped me become a better buyer's agent, for sure. I mean, so it's good to be doing that again, But as far as the listing stuff, there is no. I don't think there really is a trick to that. I think it really is just pricing, patience, because anything will sell at some point, right?
So Josh, if you switch from a listing to a rental, are you manning that rental as well for them?
In this case, yes.
Okay. And how
Because
has that been?
In this case, that listing was my house.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
got it.
Okay, good.
Got it.
Okay. Good. And did you say you found a renter?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Good. Congratulations.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we weren't able to sell my house. My house has, and then that's the irony of it all, I guess, right? My worst listing I've ever had. Okay, not ever. Actually, I remember. I remember another one. It was on the market. My worst was on the market for a year. The seller was out of country, and communication was real minimal, and we never changed the price. We didn't do anything, and there was only so much I could do about that. But the second worst listing was my own house, and yeah, but both houses were in new communities where builders were still actively, rapidly, building and offering hot deals on financing and things like that. And when you only got so much equity in the home, you can only go so low, right? Unless you're going to owe at the closing table, and nobody wants to do that. That's when real estate stops being fun, right? Is when your sellers, even if it's yourself, now you're coming to the table and you got to fork out $20,000. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually learned. So Josh, there is a product now. I'm sure you've either heard about it or maybe you've used it already, where lenders now have programs that can help compete with new build communities. And what they're doing is it's not a forward commitment like a builder has, but what it is it's an agreement with the seller to provide a seller concession for a rate buy down, right? We all know sellers can contribute, but now these lenders, if they have the commitment from the seller, they can lock the rate, and now we can advertise it. So, if a builder, I'm working one listing right now in McAllen. So this lender is here in McAllen, but they have branches in San Antonio. So if you're in San Antonio, you can use them as well. Anyway, we get the commitment from the seller. In this case, it's a three-point commitment, okay, which most of the time, if you're looking at a successful price improvement, you're going to be between 3 to 5% on your price drop. So instead of dropping the price, now these lenders can get a commitment from the seller, 3 points. They can lock the rate for a 60-day time frame, okay? And now we can advertise it. So with this one in McAllen that we're working right now, sellers committed to 3 points. And the other thing you can do, if you've already lowered the price, okay, because sometimes that's the issue. You've already lowered the price, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. You say, man, if I need to give another 3 points, well, you build that 3 points back into the price. No one really likes to see a price increase on a listing. However, you can factor that 3% back on the top, And now we can advertise, 5.125, 4.9% interest rate, because that's a big challenge, right, Josh? I would imagine you have these builders with these huge forward commitments, 4.9%, giving you 12,000 in closing costs, and those are hard to compete with. But now these lenders are trying to help. Of course, they want to earn the business for the buyer. Okay. And it's advertising. We talked about this before. Not every buyer is going to get that advertised rate. It's just like, it's truck month, right? It's always truck month. 0% APR, 20% down, and then you hear the fine print. That's the jargon, right? So, but it gives us an opportunity to advertise. Once the buyer applies, then the lender can really see, because it depends on their credit and it depends on all that stuff. You can't have someone with a 520 credit score come in and get a 4.9%. It's not going to work. So, but anyway, I'll be happy to share that information with the lender, or about the lender if y'all want to reach out. I have some lenders with that particular branch in San Antonio that I've worked with before. And we have some of our lenders that we've worked with for a long time looking at securing that kind of product too. So maybe that can help with some of the listings. We need to put that in play with some of our San Antonio listings. I already have it working here, some of the Valley listings. So
cool.
Trying to get creative, to be competitive.
No, that's the kind of creative I can get behind.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And we know, since we're in the game all the time, we know that seller concessions can go towards rate buy down and all that other kind of stuff. But a lot of people don't understand. I'm telling you, man, I had a conversation with an agent. I was telling her, because her and her buyers wanted a concession. I said, cool, let's just roll it into the sales price. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, she could not understand what I was trying to say. She was like, you're telling me my buyer needs to pay more? I said, wait a minute. I'm trying to get your buyer a better payment. I said, we can lower the price $9,000, or we can just roll the $9,000 in and the seller can give you $9,000. Or we can stick with the number and the seller gives you nothing. Which one do you want? We don't want to pay more. I said, wait, you don't get it. So for a normal person, I can understand how it can be confusing. But if we advertise a 5% interest rate, now we got some activity. Now they'll pay attention. So I think it's going to be helpful.
No, it sounds real helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll share that information. Liz, what else is going on? Jennifer, Josie, what else y'all got? Daniel, what other issues, questions, concerns? What are y'all working with?
My listing right now. So the main question that I've had on struggling to sell this home is the current owner who I'm representing purchased the home, I guess about 6 years ago or so. And when he purchased it, that seller disclosure said that the previous owner had foundation work done on the home. The foundation work was transferable at that time, but the seller that I'm working with now never transferred it over. So the seller now said he never had a problem in the home with any kind of foundation. What he did have a problem with was he replaced the floor. He removed the carpet and put floors in, and found out that it had oh my gosh, the word it just left my brain. And they had to remedy it. It had oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now. Not asbestos, but anyway, he got that remedied. But the main question right now is the foundation. So it does not have this transferable warranty anymore. So that is the battle we're facing right now, is people are just reluctant to say, hey, this had foundation work before, it doesn't have any warranty now. And I have communicated that to the seller. This is the main question. It's been about 4 or 5 people that have mentioned the exact same thing. And he hasn't really, I'm sure he's kicking himself now, saying I should have just transferred the warranty, but it never happened. And I think he only had a certain amount of time frame to do that. And so that this is where we are now. So what Josh was saying earlier is you can only reduce the price to a certain amount before it starts to hurt the seller, right? In this case, I don't think he's interested in renting it. He does need to sell it, but I I mean, I'm at a crossroads right now on how much I can do to help him, because there was a little piece um of action that he should have taken to at least transfer the warranty um
Right.
on
So
that
let's
foundation.
tap in someone here and see how y'all would handle it. Daniel has some pretty extensive issues with clients, sellers dealing with foundation and transferable warranty. What would be your recommendation, Daniel, to this issue? You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Unfortunately, the foundation company is gonna play hardball on this one. So this is just one of those situations where, the warranty is simply not gonna come into play. Um, because I've been through that. Even one of my clients, they did the same thing. So there's nothing we can do in this situation other than, I mean, what kind of problems are happening with the foundation? That's the first question I have for you right now.
I don't think he has any information on it other than there was just foundation work completed a long time ago. This was years and years and years back.
Oh, so
So he
there's
doesn't
not an
have
active
any,
problem?
I, I don't think, I mean, as far as I know, it's not an active problem. No, he didn't, the seller didn't have any problems at all with the foundation, but buyers keep asking the same question.
Okay. So there's a current buyer on deck that's interested that wants information on the foundation warranty. That's what's happening?
That I don't have anybody interested at this moment. It's just been the questions after showings. They'll come back and say, "Hey, is there a foundation warranty on this home?" And I have to come back and say no. But a separate question on foundation warranties, I I've not worked with someone who's had to repair a foundation yet. I heard that foundation warranties only cover materials, not the labor. Does that sound right?
I'm sure every company has different policies with that. I do know that they'll only warranty what was actually done. So let's say they did 40% of the foundation, they're only going to warranty that 40%. Um, so like if another part of the foundation is falling or something like that, they're not going to touch that. They're only going to touch what was done, in my experience. But yeah, I mean, if I had that seller and I got calls about the foundation, I would just tell them, the foundation was repaired. There's no issues. My seller has had no issues. Um, you can or you don't have to mention that there was a warranty that wasn't transferred. I mean, you can just simply say there isn't a warranty in place, but
Mm-hmm.
feel free to have the foundation assessed by a structural engineer
Mm-hmm.
at any time during your option period, and my seller will welcome that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've said. I haven't necessarily mentioned there was a warranty and it never got transferred over. I didn't mention any of that.
Yeah,
I
you
won't.
don't have to. I don't
Yeah.
think you have to.
Okay.
I
So
mean, the way it currently stands is there's no warranty in place because it
Yeah,
wasn't transferred. So you just have to say
exactly.
there's no warranty in place.
Yeah.
And to your seller who didn't transfer the warranty when he had to or she had to, I would just say your lack of urgency is now your emergency. That's what I always say.
right, and really, I think it's one of those situations where you have to take it as it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, what I would recommend if your seller wants to get ahead of it is, like Daniel said, the seller can hire a structural engineer and get that structural engineer report. Hopefully it's clear, hopefully it doesn't have anything glaring or any issues or something like that. But have a structural engineer, might be $500, $700, get a clear report from a structural engineer, and now you have all the evidence you need to just push forward. You could say, hey, there was foundation work however long ago. The warranty is null and void or not present, but my seller showed, good initiative, hired a structural engineer, and here's the report.
Yeah, that's the better piece of advice right there.
Yeah, so anytime you can get ahead of things like this, for one, I wouldn't necessarily dwell on it. Okay. There's nothing you can do about it. The seller needs to disclose that the work was done. And other than that, if it comes up, then it comes up. But I feel that a lot of times us as agents stress ourselves out over things that are not pressing. One buyer may bring it up, another buyer might not. So cross that bridge when it gets there. When you get to that point, I feel like there's a lot of agents, they stress themselves out about things that they can't control. They get nervous about appraisals. They get nervous about lender required repairs. They get nervous about you name it. So, don't make an issue if there's not an issue yet. Now, if you come in with an issue or someone does make an issue, then there's a lot of things you can do to try to remedy the issue. But if you want to get ahead of it, have a structural engineer, tell the seller to go ahead and do that. It'll go a long way, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah, for sure. And Jennifer, what's going on with you? What questions do you have?
I have a question
anything?
if anybody's experienced on that previous sale that closed where the title company made some errors. I've now found out that even though it was in the contract and the CD and everything else and the seller paid for it, that my client, the buyer agent, had that 1-year home warranty. And the title company still has not paid the warranty company. And I've contacted the warranty company and let them know they're being proactive. No, but the title company is not getting back to the insurance company now. So I'm kind of, well,
Is it
I'm frustrated.
insurance or home warranty?
I'm sorry, home warranty. Thank you.
Okay.
So sorry about that. So I have the home warranty company contacting the title company, but the title company, from what I'm being told, is not getting back to the home warranty.
This is common. We've actually had it happen in the past 2 transactions. Sometimes they will mail in the payment to the home warranty, and that can take up to 10 to 12 business days just to get it to the home warranty department.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll pay it via wire. What I've noticed is a lot of times now they're paying via check, via snail mail. So it does take longer.
Okay. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Does it? Because my poor client, he's like, well, I think if the title company hadn't made multiple other mistakes, maybe we would feel a little better. But I'm stressing.
Yeah, and no worries. I think this was happening on one of Daniel's deals. I think it was happening on one of Alan's deals with just the escrow officer on 2 deals very recently, 2 different title companies, both mailed out by check. And one of the clients needed to put in a claim. And when he called to put in a claim, they're like, oh, we don't have your payment, and we don't have your policy is not active yet because we haven't received your payment. And unfortunately, all you can do is just, tell your clients like it's in transit, this is your policy number. When when it does become active. And then also, if you want, just, I know the title company's not being very responsive, but getting the client and the escrow officer together on an email, even maybe with the home
Okay.
warranty rep who has been trying to reach as well, just get them all on a chain together so they can communicate. That's what we've had to do. But,
Yeah, that sounds real good.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
and like, Daniel is the master at this. You really have to ask yourself and really be honest with yourself. What does this have to do with me? You know what I mean? We we don't control the title company. We don't control the home warranty company. We don't control how they're mailing out payment. I find myself asking myself that question 50 times a day. What do I have to do with this? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me put the people in touch that have control over what's going on, aka, hey, title person, here's the home warranty person, here's the phone number, here's the email, here's the client's information, here's their email. The deal's closed. Of course, we want to be a resource, but they say, well, the home warranty company hasn't received payment. Hey, I'm sorry to hear about that. Hey, let me put you in touch with the title company directly. I'm going to put the title company in touch with the home warranty company, and let's see what they can do.
Yeah, because there's nothing you can do, but they need to work together on it. So the best way you can be a resource is just to make sure that they're communicating with each other. But you, as far as your realtor hat, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, okay.
That happened recently to me, Jennifer. Same thing. Buyers, they couldn't get their home warranty because it was nothing intentional. It was what Josie was saying. It was just that they mailed the payment and it took a couple of weeks to get to the home warranty company. Then the home warranty had to pick up from there and do their part. So it wasn't until several weeks later after closing that they actually had home warranty. But again, like to their point, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it other than connect them and say, because it is a lot of touch time if someone's asking you every other day, have you heard back? Have you heard back?
Yeah.
Have you heard back? you know. So yeah, I wouldn't stress too much. Don't lose sleep over that.
Okay.
I have a
And what's
separate
Daniel's
question, guys.
favorite quote? Send them to the title company.
Yeah.
Let the title company deal.
We'll have to talk to title on that.
We have to talk to title.
I think the longer you do this, you
question.
learn to stay in your lane and only kind of, worry about the stuff that you're supposed to worry about. I think that's something else that commercial has taught me is that if I don't know, I don't know.
Sure.
And that's for anything. That's for foundation, that's for warranty, that's for whatever. But like, hey, as somebody said, but let me put you in touch with who does.
I think
So
Elizabeth
you
has
still
a
come from
question.
service, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Sure.
As realtors, we always, not always, but a lot of us want to play Superman and put on the cape and go, fly in and make everything better and whatnot. But we have to remember what we can and can't do and just stay in that lane,
Okay.
So.
And the biggest thing, even on showings, it's like, well, we're gonna have to get it inspected.
Mm-hmm.
We can get an HVAC person out here. We can get here to come check out this foundation. But I don't pretend to know. I'm not a roofer. I'm not an HVAC tech. I'm not a licensed plumber. I can see that that it's a little clogged, but we're gonna have to have that looked at. And the best thing you can do is don't pretend to be an expert, because that's not what we do.
Oh, I haven't.
No. I'm just saying in general. This is just for everyone to hear. It's because it's easy. And I remember when I first started, I wanted to wear the hat that I knew everything, and that's the wrong way to do it. Because we don't know everything. And it's like, hey, let's leave it up to the pros during the inspection. I'm here to help you negotiate the best deal we can if you want to move on this home, and that's my job. So that was just a random public,
Yeah. I tell people on sticks, bricks, and contracts. So
Yeah.
if what we're talking about has nothing, nothing to do with that, then we need to go find someone who does.
There you go. I like that. Cool. Hey, Liz, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have one last question. This recent seller contacted me. They received a letter from the HOA that they had sold the property for. And the HOA, I mean, I'm guessing they'd received multiple letters from the HOA, but this one came certified, and they said that by the next day they would be fined due to the yard not being cut, and it was just it had pictures. You know how the HOA does; they'll send pictures of the front lawn and whatnot, right? So the buyers have, I'm, they've not moved in. They were from Austin. They've not moved in and they've not cut the grass and whatnot, but they contacted the sellers. So I had the sellers reach out to the HOA and say, hey, I don't own that property anymore. But is it because the new buyers haven't transferred everything? Because I would think after the sale, everything would be transferred to the new owners. But in this case, the sellers were still receiving the letters at now their new address. I guess it was forwarded. I'm not exactly sure, but now they were getting the HOA letters to their new address for the home that they sold a couple of months ago.
Okay. I have two remedies for that. Number one, send a yard guy out there to cut the grass. Number two, and Liz, you pay for it. I can't even tell you how many yards I've paid for. Okay. And the reason why is because you don't want to get in a squabble. You know what I mean? We're back in the same conversation, right? The deal's closed. Okay. Deal's closed. What's going on between the title company and the HOA docs and other, you don't have anything to do with that. So if you don't want the buyers to get in trouble because they keep getting citation from the HOA, you can keep telling the buyers, cut the grass, cut the grass, cut the grass, right? But it's happened to me on multiple times. I hear, oh, the grass is, oh, you know what? Hey, I call my yard guy. Hey, man, go over there, dude. Cut the grass. And I'll sell you $45. Like handle that objection. And then if the issue is with the HOA, put the HOA or the whatever in touch with the title company. Hey, did we get the resale cert? Hey, what's going on with this? Hey, have the docs been transferred? Hey, it's all, because again, that doesn't have anything to do with you. And the reason the new seller or whatever, whoever you're saying, they're getting the letter is probably because it forwarded to their new. So have your clients email you the letter and then send it to the title company and say, hey, what's going on with this HOA? Please contact my buyer client and let them know what's going on so that way they're aware. And then we have to get on with our day. You know what I mean? Our job, we need to be working the new deals. The most important deal for any realtor is your next deal. It's so easy to get caught up in the minutia of all this. It just clogs the wheel. And I've let it happen to me where all of a sudden I lose 3 hours and I'm messing with BS with a darn home warranty or a title company. I don't have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Deal's closed. Put them in touch with the title company. And if you really want to just get it out of the way, send your yard guy out there, cut the grass, and tell the HOA to figure it out. like I mean, we have those conversations.
I would do what Josie was mentioning earlier, get everyone on an email thread and then step aside. Because there's nothing else we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I'm at. I got title involved. Title said they were going to take care of it. I need to follow up now. But, the seller was still being, but I'm thinking, HOAs usually send multiple letters before they say, hey, starting Monday, we're going to start fining you. They usually send 2, 3, letters before that, I know because I'm guilty.
And going back to what Alan said, if you send a yard person out there and they do that, your client's going to remember that and you're going to get more business from stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
Yeah,
I
they're
know
going to
that.
say, hey, Liz, I know they were talking about sending me a fine. Hey, thank you for sending your yard guy out there. I mean, might cost you 50 bucks, 60 bucks. Send a guy out there, handle that problem, and and then we need to move on.
There's a lot of times where it's like we think that, okay, there's a process, everybody's professional, they're doing what they need to do, but there's a lot of times where there's just holes in the cracks and completely not related to real estate. But when I sold my car to a dealership for a trade-in, and then a year later, I'm getting, messages from my former insurance company saying, "Oh, we're contacting you about your recent accident. Here are bills for your recent accident." I found out the dealership never changed to the new owner. So they ran my VIN number. Well, on my previous car, I was still showing up as the owner. So I was being charged all these things for an accident that a person who purchased my car got in. So you think like, okay, these are professionals, they know who to talk to. At the end of the day, things fall through the cracks. Everybody's human. Best thing you can do, Liz, is just get the title company, HOA, and the client all on an email. You don't have to check in. Leave it up to them to check in.
Right,
Like
Dan?
you're out of it.
Send them the title. We need
Send
to
them
get
the title.
title. We need to get title involved on
That's it.
this.
Everybody's getting a shirt that says "Send them to title."
Send them the
Like that's
title.
it.
And Daniel will tell the title company, hey, call this person and you make sure they're all right. Please give them a call, puts them in touch, and that's it. End of story. So
Cool.
cool. Well, good stuff. Well, do y'all have any other questions? Y'all ready to get out there and keep tackling the week? Anything else we can help you with?
what, one last thing I want to throw in there when it comes to service, Alan and I have spent 4,000 bucks to make 2,000 bucks. You know what I mean? Like that's exaggerating, but if we need to throw a fridge into the deal to get it done from a client that's unhappy that it didn't have a fridge after all and we negotiated it and the seller didn't leave it behind and there's a fight, we buy a whole fridge. You do things like that for your client. We've done that I don't know how many times, and that's important. Those things like the yard, that's just a little side note I was thinking about. Don't be afraid to, write a check to make your $7,000 check, to just get it done.
Yeah,
Sometimes you spend 4,000 to make 2,000, but the next month you make 8,000 because of the little things you did
Yeah,
during the previous month.
exactly.
that's right. Well, let me let me
That's
give
what I'm
you a
doing
quick
this summer.
example. Okay, I'm having some car problems right now. Okay, my car wouldn't start, and right away Josie figured it's probably the battery, so we thought it was the battery. Took it to AutoZone. AutoZone tests the battery. They say it's dead. They test the alternator. They say, hey, the alternator's not charging it. I think you have a faulty alternator. I go to North Park Lexus down here in San Juan, take my car. They do the whole video, real fancy, send me the video and say, oh, okay, well, yeah, we recommend this and this and this. $4,000 they're wanting to charge me for this stuff. I said, well, how much is it just for the alternator? Because AutoZone said it was bad. It said the battery was bad. How much for the alternator and the battery? That's going to be $1,900. I say, you know what? No way. Josie, let's go pick up my car. So we go back to the dealer. They jump it. I pick it up. And I got a recommendation for a mechanic here in Weslaco that handles Toyota and Lexus. Took it over there. The guy calls me this morning, says, there's nothing wrong with your alternator. You have a dead battery. We can replace your battery for $150. You don't have a bad alternator and you don't need any other further. Everything's fine with your car. I said, well, thank you so much for being honest with me. So now Josie is over here saying, well, I'm going to take my car over there too, and I'm going to have them do a tune-up. And now anybody that I run into contact around this area that needs to go to a mechanic, I'm going to send them to that guy. Why? Because they were honest. They weren't trying to pull the wool over my eyes. They could have easily, if they would have told me it was going to be $1,000, I would have paid it like that because I was getting ready to pay $2,000. I would have said, I'm getting a deal. So the point of the story is, being honest, being upfront, all those little things, yeah, they could have charged me 1,000 or 2,000, but they're going to charge me $150. Then I even told them, I said, hey, give the whole car a look over. Check the tires, check the transmission, check the alignment, check everything. Because now I feel like these guys are being honest. So give me an honest assessment. And yeah, I might pay you 150 now, but hey, when I need to take it in, I'm taking it there. So just like Daniel said, it's those little acts of service that go. So now they got a new customer because Josie's going to take it. I'm going to tell my neighbors. I even put it in the group text message. Hey, if y'all need a mechanic, go to this guy. So he's going to make $10,000 because he charged me 150. You know what I mean? So little things like that go a long way. So that's a little side note, but I was just blown away from the dealer saying $4,000. Come on, man.
And the moral of the story.
I was getting ready to trade my car in. I said, you know what? Keep the car. Just keep it.
He was.
Give me another one. Just keep it.
The moral of the story is listen to your wife. Because when she says it's the battery, it's the battery.
That's right. That's what you said. And you know what's funny is I even told this mechanic what they told me at AutoZone. And I said, yeah, at AutoZone, they said it was the alternator and the battery. And he said, you know what? I'm going to check it out because I don't trust them.
And the brake fluid.
I was like, I like this guy. He's going to check it out. And when I got the phone call this morning, I was expecting $2,000. I mean, I was ready for it. No, it's $150. We use AC Delco battery, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So that's more.
What if in this case, because this home sold 2 months ago, so what if in this case I would have called the landscaping guy goes out there and busts several sprinkler heads. Then I have the new buyer saying, wait a minute, you sent someone out to cut my grass and now they broke the sprinkler system.
Is this actually happening, Liz?
No, but that's my luck.
Then don't worry about it. You have plenty of other things to worry about. Don't worry about a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying before I send a landscaping guy out there, would I be responsible for that?
The buyer can pay for the lawn cut if need be, but don't make issues that aren't issues.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to send anyone. I would just link up who needs to be linked up via email and then step back. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's where I'm at. I'll give you guys an update next week.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. And don't worry about the sprinkler heads. You'll be all right. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. As always, y'all can hit us up anytime with any questions. Jennifer, anything else to add? Anything? Y'all good to go? Okay, guys. Well, y'all have a good rest of the week. Hey, if you're in the Valley, make sure Thursday at 12 o'clock in Weslaco at Arturo's. Invite your prospects. Come have lunch. Lunch is on us. We're going to have a good time, and we'll see y'all next week. All right, guys? Y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in.